like a random, just like that. I'm kicking up dust as long as there is blood inside my veins, as long as I'm still the one they blame. Well, then I can't change, and I'll be kicking up dust. I wanna get out of here, make a scene and knock some stuff around, shake the whole foundation to the ground, 'cause we're the lost till we're found.
Oh, how are you getting on?
Hey, Podge.
Hey, good to finally see you in person, I guess, as close to person as possible.
Yeah, it's great to finally connect.
Yeah,
I've we enjoyed getting to cover you in the past.
it's been amazing. I've loved working with Scummy Water Tower. You guys have been like the most exciting part of every release recently. Just like I'm like I've never thought about writing an essay, but then doing it for you guys was like amazing.
To start off with, I wanted to ask, what music have you been listening to lately?
Ooh, music I've been listening to. I'm very broad when it comes to music I listen to. I've been listening to Jeff Tweedy's new album, Twilight Override. It's incredible. The new Clips album, it's fantastic. Great rap record. What are my other go-to albums right now? I'm gonna check my phone because this is the minute you can name off all the artists you're listening to, and the minute someone asks you, you're like, I don't know any artists. Let me see. I've been listening to more Charlie Parr recently. Charlie Parr is just like an artist who I really admire and just think the world of. I played a few shows with him, and he's super cool dude. D'Angelo with his passing, it's like he's gone back up my radar. And listening to Black Messiah again for the first time in a few years, it cuts just as well as it did when you first listened to it. And a lot of John Prine, which is just very normal for me. If anyone who knows me knows, I'm just going to listen to John Prine on repeat.
Yeah, it's a good mix of music.
Yeah, I'm like human analytics. I'll listen to any genre and everything in between.
As you may know, we take our name from a Replacements song. What's your
Mhm.
favorite Replacements song?
I'm I'm gonna be really bad here and say that the Replacements are a band that I have not gotten enough into. I know Can't Hardly Wait, is it? I've heard that one a few times, but I've generally not listened to them enough. They're a band that I just need to actually sit down with. So this is reminding me to do that because I'm not getting on a podcast again, not knowing the Replacements.
Nearly
What's
every
your favorite?
uh can't hardly wait is a top one.
Yeah, they're a band that I need to actually what like I love when people pick a band to focus on, like even name yourselves after a lyric from them is just so cool. So they must have a very passionate fan base for people to to do something like that. So that's I need to get into them.
Nearly every town and even some larger cities have at least one water tower. Do you recall what the water tower in the town that you grew up looked like?
Well, see, I've grown up so many places that like I was born in Ireland in Kerry, and we did not have a water tower there. There was no, it was wells, like especially in that area in Kerry, it's like water comes from wells, everything like that. We never had a big water tower. Then when I was 5, we lived in New York, so whatever the water tower was there. So like I've never done. That's why like with this album, I wrote it in Georgia, which was really cool to get to go somewhere that was kind of in between because growing up it was either very small town or village in Ireland or literally New York City, the biggest place. So water tower, I never thought about that. No, I don't. I never lived somewhere that like you could go, oh, we're going to the water tower, or that's the town's water tower. That's an interesting one.
Mm-hmm.
I like how every question you're giving so far, I'm like, I don't have an answer. I feel like a politician right now.
Those last two were from Alex.
Okay, I'll blame Alex for that one.
If you had to pick some words to describe yourself as a songwriter, which would you use and why?
I really like that. I would say raw. I'm someone who it has to be as real as, but like you know that term demoitis where people get attached to demos of like a song and don't want to move on to mixing it. I just full on don't write demos. Like I love listening to like old Wilco, old artists like that and listening to their demo versions. I'm like, this is 10 times better. So I love demos of stuff. So raw, definitely as a songwriter, I'll keep the lyrics with minimal changes. I think if I get to, again, I'm doing this politician thing of like I'm going to change the question, but if I get to compound words, brutally honest, I feel like with my music I will say the thing that people are like, maybe you shouldn't say that about yourself or say that in this song. I will say it. Funny, hopefully some people find some of the songs funny and uh relatable. I hope, especially with this album, I feel relatable is a term that could be used. Because I don't think of myself I don't think of songwriting as something that is like above anything. And I think sometimes songwriters can look at writing a song as like I am so much better than the people I'm giving this song to, whereas I'm just like I'm a dude with an acoustic guitar in his room writing songs. Hopefully, someone listens to it on a train and is like, "Oh, that feels like me." So relatable is a
Hmm.
good one, I think.
You just released your new album, Less of Me.
I
Can
did.
you tell me a little bit about what you were hoping to achieve with the release compared to the previous ones?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I think more than any release I've done, this one I can compare to the older releases because I finished Less of Me in September or August of last year. Or sorry, I finished Multiple Dead Ends, the album that came before Less of Me, in August of last year. And I love that album and I'm so proud of it. But it was an album that took a lot out of me because when you write a concept album about your fear of death, you do end up having to go a lot of dark places and a lot of personal places. So I was super burnt out. Like I was doing a lot of shows, a lot of touring, and I was just when I finished that album, I kind of felt empty. I loved the songs, but I just felt like I was so tired of doing this. And I even was like, do I want to keep writing songs? But I had this idea just to come to the US because I grew up here and I haven't been back, especially as a touring artist. So myself and my girlfriend decided in February we'd move over here, and I gave myself the goal of rediscovering why I liked playing music, why I liked writing specifically. And so I just said yes to every single show while here. So I played in South Carolina, in Georgia, and then up to New York. I played over 100 shows in 7 months, just saying yes to everything from a festival ground to like a really dingy dive bar to like shows with artists who I admire. And over those 100 shows, by accident, not thinking I was going to make another album, I came out with these like 9 songs that I was
That I
like,
was like,
oh, I really like how weird these are. Um, and even with those songs, I was like tempering them to the next show. So like I do a show, sing the song and be like, ooh, that line didn't hit as well as it did for this crowd. Why was that the case? So the songs actually got honed on the road, which normally I make an album, do it at home, record it, and then show it to people. This album was like being created as I moved. And once I had 9 songs, I was just like, I'm gonna go into the studio. I say studio, it was a lot of makeshift rooms with a lot of blankets and just record it all in 7 days. I was like, I'm keeping in every imperfection, every laugh, every out of tune note, which is the opposite of what I was trying to do on Multiple Dead Ends. On Multiple Dead Ends, I was trying to be very polished in my delivery of this sad music. With this one, it's kind of the music can be sad, it can be happy, depending on what you want it to be, but it's all going to be delivered as honestly as possible. Room noise, laughs, jokes, squeaky chairs, everything. So what I think I came out with was 10 songs that just feel like a mini postcard of everything that I've done over this year. Like it's a snapshot of this year in review. Because sometimes you can look at a photo and you can be like, oh, that person's smiling in it. Or you can look at that same photo and be like, they look uncomfortable in that photo. So I'm using the postcard metaphor because it just feels like an album where I'm not telling you how to listen to it. I'm not telling you the concept. I'm just giving you these stories, these songs about people I've met, or sometimes about myself, and I'm letting you decide what you want because it's literally less of me. It's not about me anymore. It's about the songs and what they do in a live setting and now in a record setting. So I'm very proud. I hope I accomplished half of that jargon that I just spoke.
The songs that you sing and the peace that it brings in between all that noise you belong, where kerosene lighters and fireflies light up the sky.
Performing the songs live really helped shape them. Can you talk about what it was like creating songs in kind of a real time manner and what you learned through presenting through American audiences?
Yeah, it was American audiences have been fantastic for my music. Again, being an alt country singer, it's there's obviously, a lot more venues here. There's a lot more based on that alone. But crowds have been really receptive, and one thing I love is it's a yes or it's a no a lot of the times. So like sometimes I'd play a show and when you're playing in a country where you're from, where people might know you or people might know your grandfather, they might know a cousin. They'll be like, "Yeah, that was really good." But you can see on their face there's kind of a feeling of like, "Oh, did that hit?" And you're always wondering. Whereas a lot of the American audiences, I finish a show and they'd be like, "Oh, I really like that song. Hate that one, hate that other one, but I really like that one." And it gave me like I love the honesty. I love the honesty of someone not liking one of my songs. So it wasn't a case that I'd be like, oh, they didn't like it, I'm gonna scrap it. I'd kind of go, well, why didn't you like it? And through kind of hearing people's feedback, and sometimes you can weed out the feedback that you're like, oh, you're never gonna like anything I do. But you can weed out the feedback of, okay, well, they didn't like this song because there was no clear ending to the story, or they didn't like this song because it kind of stayed up high all the time, or they didn't like this one because they want to hear what I sound like when I sing a song a bit lower. So it just kind of became a grading system where I didn't have to worry about going into the studio, recording a song, going, oh, it should be at a faster tempo. For the first time ever, had all these songs. I went, I know exactly how they're going to be played in the studio because the guy at the show in Brooklyn, the two people at the show in Georgia, and that one person in South Carolina all helped me to figure out the tempo, the timing, the pace, and everything like that, whether the lyric landed. There were some of the songs where like I played it for the first time in South Carolina and it didn't have a bridge. And then people liked it, but when I got up to New York, I was like, this isn't hitting as much because there's nothing in between. The story on the album is actually the perfect example because I had this whole mythical story and this really cool idea. But when I got up to New York, people kind of were zoning out by the time I did the chorus a second time. So it's like there needs to be something in between to snap attention. And also, you know, with what I was dealing with in the move to a bigger city, I was seeing more things happening that allowed me to write that bridge. Whereas if I tried to write the bridge down in Georgia, I think the story would have been a different song completely. So it was really just a live test to see, okay, could I make a song that not only hits for me, but in a live setting, I can see at least 70% of the audience are enjoying it. And I think I succeeded in a lot of ways with that because by the time the album was coming out and the album was finished, I was playing live shows and had gone from when I finish a new album, I would do like 4 songs from the first album, 3 from the second, 2, 3, 4 from the newest one. Whereas with this album, my show was comprising of the 10 songs from this album and then like one or two from the other ones because I loved playing this one live so much.
As you said before, the songs on this new album kind of chronicle your move to the US and kind of explorations around the country.
Mhm.
How did those experiences shape and shift your perspective as a person and songwriter?
That's a great question. They shifted as a songwriter, I think they taught me um as a songwriter moving around a lot taught me that artists shouldn't take themselves as seriously as we sometimes do. Like I have always had reverence for like the Bob Dylans and like the Tom Waits and people like that. And there was always a part of me that was like, do they believe their own myth? Whereas playing all these shows and meeting people at shows, it taught me that maybe that Bob Dylan song that we thought was the most beautiful, anthem that he sat down with for 8 hours wasn't as important to him as Country Pie from the Nashville Skyline sessions. Like I think as artists we should be able to have a bit of fun when we're making the music, when we're playing live, and when we're talking about music as an art form. So like I love talking to songwriters on this journey. I loved getting to see what songwriters thought was the right way to write and what they thought was the wrong way, because for me there is no wrong way, there is no right way. Like there's one song on this album called Oh to Be Alive, which I had this set of lyrics. I just wrote it as a complete stream of consciousness, just as a joke, like 2 years ago. Just wrote it in my notes, and I was just like writing down everything I was seeing on this walk and just some fantasy stuff. And if I had that set of lyrics at any other point in my career, not having traveled the US, not having played joke songs in front of crowds, not having played 2 hour sweaty shows and met people who didn't care about songwriting, um, I might have just like hyper focused on and been like, needs to be a ballad and every lyric needs to be perfect. I just went in the studio, did a blues chord progression, and was like, I'm gonna make these lyrics fit no matter what. And shockingly, not overthinking it made people really gravitate towards that song when the album came out because it was a lot of fun and you could tell that I wasn't taking myself super seriously.
Riddle stories, early mornings, coffee, donuts, heartbreak moments, save it complex, watch the Matrix, let it blow your mind. Oh, to be alive. Oh, to be alive. Oh, to be alive.
So like while I learned a lot on honing the songs themselves from the travels, I think just meeting people outside of music taught me to stop taking myself so seriously, because I could meet someone, at a show and they'll know me as a songwriter. But if I meet someone outside of it, they might not care that I'm a songwriter. They might think it's interesting, but they also might not care. And I need to understand that that's actually a really freeing thing to go, this is songwriter brain, this is Podge Lane, the actual human's brain. And I was able to then go, well, I've written this song. I like it as a songwriter, but what does Podge Lane think of it? What does the guy who's not a songwriter think? And those two kind of finally melded a bit more in my head, rather than what they've done on usual releases, which is the two of them fighting a lot about what we're supposed to do.
What were some of your favorite stories from the tour? And
Some of my favorite stories from tours. Well, some of them ended up on the album because there's songs on it that were about people I met. Like, um, this won't get me in trouble, but when I was just freshly on tour, just came over to the US. I landed in an airport down south, and was just like sitting down. I was like, I don't have any new songs. I need to write some stuff out. And there was this guy on the phone, older gentleman, who was just like screaming into his phone, and he was yelling. And when someone talks so loud, you're like, I can't not eavesdrop. They're kind of inviting me to this conversation. But they were talking about like their kids, and every sentence ended with, "Oh, my kids don't like me. I need them to come over to fix the HBO, or my kids don't like me, I need them to fix the garden shed. And I just found this fascinating that he couldn't just go, my kids don't like me, and then like a normal human reason with it. He was just like, they don't like me, which sucks because I need work done in the house. And so in that moment, I just sat down, wrote Broken Door, which is the second song on the album, in full. Just like, I was like, you're not talking at a low volume, so I'm taking down what you're saying and I'm writing a song with it. And I brought it to a show like 3 days later, and immediately people were like, I know like 800 people like that. So it was one where like it resonated straight away.
I have myself a broken door. It don't seem to lock much anymore. I threw away the key because no one visits me, and I have
Another great moment on tour was I got to play Pete's Candy Store, which is like a dream venue of mine. As a nerd for music, Punch Brothers have been one of my favorite bands ever, and they did a music video when I was 17, freshly into music, called Movement and Location in Pete's Candy Store. So I needed to play this venue more than anything. I was so proud to play it, but the day I was going to play it, I needed to finish the song Let Me Ask You on the album, and I needed a cello player, but I didn't know any cello players. So I walked around Central Park for like 2 hours, and finally there was a dude playing cello just sitting down. And I was like, would you mind terribly just playing just one note on the cello and I'll sample it for my song? Like I literally just needed one note so that I could like pitch it up and down so that it worked at the end of the song. And he just looked at me, he was like, would you get me a packet of salt and vinegar chips? I was like, okay, so we're making a deal here. Like I ran, got him salt and vinegar chips, brought him back. He played one note. I recorded it on my mic down there. It's just a Shure mic, and did it in like 3 minutes. Walked out, recorded the whole thing, played Pete's Candy Store that night, and that was the song that I debuted there. Which again, people were like, "That's beautiful." I was like, "You can thank the cello player in Central Park for that ending." So those were some of my favorite stories from touring so far.
When you were doing the first tour through the US, do you have any interest in souvenirs that you got?
I love souvenirs. I'm checking around now if I have any souvenirs, because I'm just like I'm like a crow. Like the minute I see something shiny, I'm like, I'm taking that. That's gonna be great. Let me take a quick look to see if I got anything. Well, I know this isn't from the show, but a lot of the times what I like to do is, if I make money at a show, which is rare as a singer-songwriter, I like to treat myself to stuff. So I went to played Pete's Candy Store, finished that show, left it, and I was like, I need to celebrate. So the next day I went to my first ever Yankees game, and I got this, which is a popcorn bucket from Yankee Stadium, of Yankee Stadium, and I keep all of my like wires and recording equipment inside in that now. After my first show, I'm seeing if there's anything else in this room that's like a cool souvenir. Oh yes, we got this. After my first show in Georgia, my girlfriend, love her to bits, Rebecca Dermody, who plays piano on the entire album, she got me this book, which I'm finally getting a chance to sit down and read. It's John Prine. It's by Tommy Piazza. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. But Living in the Present with John Prine, and it is. I've held it the whole time on tour so that I could read it once the album came out, and I had 5 minutes to actually think. And already I'm like, this is the book you need for when you finished a crazy tour. Trying to think of anything. I take a lot of tote bags. Tote bags is something that I love, and anything from Trader Joe's. Like I usually get stickers after I finish a show. So this was after the show where I came up with the idea for Less of Me. This is not a cartoon render of me with muscles, but this is a professional wrestler called Hangman Adam Page. I'm a huge wrestling nerd, so got that. I have a burger one from playing in Brooklyn. I have a Dawes sticker which someone gave me after a show when I said on stage that I was a big fan of Dawes. And I think that is most of the souvenirs in this room. If I was to leave and go downstairs, you would see just every like piece of memorabilia taken from venue. If I can take it, I'll take it from a venue. I don't steal, but I'll be like, hey, do you need this? And they're like, what are you talking about? We don't even know that's in the green room. I'm like, so it's mine now. This is brilliant, which is very fun, but very tough when you're trying to live out of two big suitcases and you've got like one of them with your clothes and you're like, I could throw out a pair of jeans so that I have 20 more stickers. But yeah, I love souvenirs from shows. I'll take anything.
What were some of the biggest surprises writing and recording the new album?
The honestly, the biggest surprise was how little time it took. It's my albums have taken three, like I'm not someone who takes a long time to come up with the idea, but it's the kind of honing of the idea and like making sure the bass line is perfect, making sure the mix is perfect. That takes maybe 4 or 5 months for me. Whereas this album was done in 7 days and like I mixed and mastered it in 2.5 days because again, with the title Less of Me, I did not want to think about it. I wanted it to be pure fun. And like I went into the studio with 9 songs. That was completely the idea for it to be a 9 song album. But when we had most of it finished, I listened to the transition from honesty to the story, and I was like, that's kind of a heavy transition. I need something to kind of break it up in between. And so I got Rebecca to play piano just for like 30 minutes. I was like, just I'm gonna play honesty, you play for 30 minutes, and then I'm gonna play the story. And she just played, and I took 1 minute and 30 seconds from it, and I think it's probably my favorite point in the album because it's so understated and a really good breath in between. Whereas that's the kind of thing I would have never done on the first 3 albums. First 3 albums were planned out like from day one, like this is song one, this is song three, this is song five, this is the penultimate track. Um, this album just came together in 7 days with no idea what it was going to be. I thought maybe it was going to be an EP. I thought it might even be cool if it was just 3 singles. Didn't expect it to be 10 songs, which is funny because a lot of the reviews are like it's his most like intimate work, but like it's really like fine-tuned. Whereas this was a lot of joking around in the studio. There was no thinking in a lot of songs, and some people have said like Oh to Be Alive has like cynicism in it. And I'm like, I'm laughing through the last chorus because I forgot the lyrics. Like they're all being read from like a little notepad as I'm like, what did I even write here? Like, what is it? Cannon fodder, sons and daughters. I was like, I just need to record it.
Cannon fodder, sons and daughters, birthday, Christmas, days to witness. No appeals, life won't reveal what it really means.
I finally got to use some of my like punk ethos because I'm a huge punk music fan, but I've never written in punk. So I felt like that was me kind of living out the dream of being like with an acoustic guitar. I'm just going to record this. If it sounds good, it sounds good. If the ending sucks, I'm doing a fade out. It's just we're going to make these songs work because we don't have the budget to go into the studio for longer.
Would you be interested in showing how to play one of the tunes?
Showing how to play one of the songs from the album.
Yeah, like a kind of a notable part of the song, maybe.
Oh, a notable part of song. Okay, I'll take out the guitar. I'm hoping it's in tune because I haven't used it since I moved, but we'll find out right now. There might be some buzzing from that, but I think one of the parts of the album that I love. So I love this little movement. I found these first 2 chords just on TikTok. Sometimes when I'm like running out of chord ideas, I'll just look up cool chords on TikTok, and I just found this little movement, which, if I wasn't in half step down now, was from B minor up to D. And I just really like the way these chords moved, just that little segment. And I think when they were playing, they were kind of doing more of like a funk thing. So it was just like, but I'm a huge Shaky Graves fan. So being a Shaky Graves fan, I love his little like movement that he does on like Roll the Bones and stuff like that. So I started doing just this. So I just like sat with this in like the heat in South Carolina for like 40 minutes. And if I'm playing a song or writing a song, I'll just like do that ad nauseum as people are like walking around being like, is he okay? Is he stable right now? And I'll just like try to find a melody. And once something hits, I know it's a song. So like I was just doing that and I just went, Goliath's got a David complex. And I don't usually do this, but when I said that, I was like, that's an amazing, like I was so proud of him. I was like, that's a great lyric. And so I sat with the song, finished it in about 40 minutes, but I didn't have the bridge. And that's why this is the part that I just wanted to show that I love. You could ask me to name the chords. I have them written out on a sheet, but right now I'm just going to call it the weird section, the bridge section, because it was just that over and over again, and then the chorus was just those chords. There was nothing strange, and it kept going. By the second minute, I was noticing I was losing people once started playing in New York. So I just put in the lyrics, oh, for better or for worse, none of our lives come pre-rehearsed. Any old notion it can be reversed if you let it. I was doing it to the chorus chords, and I was like, people are still not liking it. They're liking the lyrics, but there's nothing hitting. And I don't know where this came from. This usually is not how it happens. I'm very systematic when it comes to looking at music theory for writing my songs. But I just did this bass movement and it was like my proudest moment. And it's that tension of the semitone notes that I'm just like, any old notion it can be reversed. I was like, there's something with those lyrics of like someone who can't let go of the past and just that, which it just became a very gross thing, which was I was very happy with those lyrics. It was, and for better or for worse, none of our lives come pre-rehearsed. Any old notion it can be reversed if you let it. And the minute I said let it on that major chord, I was like, that is catch and release. I've put in a load of tension, and you're like, this guy's never gonna get better. If you let it on the major chord, you're like, everyone in the crowd can breathe again.
And for better or for worse, none of our lives come pre-rehearsed. Any old notion it can be reversed if you let it. And you can rearrange the
So that would be one of my favorite moments. I think the bass is going E to F sharp to G, but then those semitones underneath are just like almost like someone scratching at the wall, being like, "You're going to listen to me right now." So I'm very proud of what that became.
And the song was, what was the title?
So that song's called The Story. So
Okay.
that can be confusing with me being like, there's so many stories on the album, but that one is literally called The Story because I just had once I had the line Goliath's got a David complex, I was like, this song cannot go back to me talking about a guy who's anything other than this. But
Hmm.
I like the myth making in that song. So once I had that weird chord progression and on guitar it sounds nice. On piano, when it was played, I was like, oh my God, I'm a G. Like that was one of the cocky moments where I was like, I'm never gonna die. This is incredible.
What are you most looking forward to in the months ahead?
Well, personally, I'm looking forward to just playing more shows. I love playing live music, and I've definitely, not that I ever lost it, but I've definitely got more passion for music than I've ever had in my life. So I'm already working on the next record, which I'm happy with. I just want to make music for the rest of my life and play shows because New York and Georgia and South Carolina and every place that I've played so far, I'm like, well, if I've only played like 4 states and every one of them has been great, there's bound to be some other ones that are going to be fun. So like, I want to play every show, every venue I can. I want to meet more people. I want to write more music. I'm looking forward to playing music, but I'm looking forward to the next month not doing anything because I've just released an album. I've just done all of that work, and I am excited to take a nap at some point. That's going to be fun and catch up with playing my Nintendo Switch because it has been sorely missed.
What's one question that you wish people would ask you?
Oh, that's a great question. What's one question that I wish? Um, I think not to go back to the start and my political non-effacing answers, but I think you've actually asked a lot of those, which is kind of going into the more lyrical content and also asking like about the specifics of songs. Because I love when people talk about like the album and stuff like that, but I really do. I can go into like the fine-tuned notes of a song for hours with anyone, like as long as they allow me to. I'm not someone who's going to vomit at you, but if you let me talk about songs, I'll talk about any kind of music. If someone just asks me like what my favorite music is, I love when people have a passion for anything. So when people do ask like what got me into music, what my favorite songs are, and what inspired my songs, because back to what I was saying about songwriters sometimes taking themselves too seriously. I think sometimes songwriters, and I've been someone who's done it myself. When someone comes up to you and it's like that really reminded me of X, Y, and Z artist, I think a lot of the time we take that as an offense. Whereas nothing you can do as an artist is completely original. You are made up of your influences, your upbringing, and everything you've done and everything you're going to do. So when someone asks me like what a song means to me, I love when I get to go into, well, here's what it is lyrically, here's what it is chord wise, and here's the influences. Like, I love being like, this song is me trying to write like this person, this song is me trying to sound like this person. Like, I wear my influences on my sleeve. So when someone asks influences or the breakdown of a song, those are my like big ones. Even there, I felt like a kid in the candy shop when you were like, show me some of the chords. I was like, oh, yes, please. Oh my God, yes, let's do it.
I thought I'd try that kind of question since this is going to be a video interview,
Yeah.
and
I'm glad you did. Thank you.
that offers even more possibilities what you can do.
Oh, I could make this podcast about 6 hours long. I could be like, and now we're going into these chords, and now we're going to this song. And have you ever heard this song by Dawes? And like I'm a nerd for talking about music because I genuinely have such a passion for it.
And a side note, any plans to get out to the Midwest or Wisconsin?
I'm using this as an open platform. If someone books me out there, I will like I am not someone who's like I need a charcuterie board and I need 100 pounds of pyrotechnics. If someone gets me a train ticket and somewhere to sleep, I will play every single show there. But yes, that is a plan, but the plan is absolute US expansion. Like I am going to play every venue in every city that I can until the wheels fall off. Because, like I said, I'm not saying this as like oh, I'm so great, but live music is such a passion for me. I love doing this. So, Midwest, please book me. I know it's hard nowadays. Music is really something that we need to take care of, and live venues are something we need to take care of. So that's why I talk about the venues I played. I talk about the people I played with because live music is more important now than ever. So if someone in the Midwest has a venue and is in need of a scrappy asthmatic singer-songwriter who will play any venue you have, Podge Lane, I'm your guy.
I know there's a lot of good, cool venues in Milwaukee.
Oh, I want to get out to Milwaukee very badly. I just want to play everywhere because I've literally only seen one side, like the side of the US I've seen so far, you can get one train all the way up. I want to see the parts where you have to get three cars and a taxi and row a boat out to. I want to get every venue possible. That was my thing in Ireland as well, but there's only so many venues in Ireland, so I was getting to play amazing places where I was playing like one of the oldest buildings in Ireland in Kilkenny, hole in the wall. That was incredible. And I was playing churches on like the side of the beach because again, I just want to be able to say I played every single venue. Like we all dream for the big venues, but it doesn't matter if there's two people in the audience or 200. If I get to play original music in front of people, I'm happy. So Milwaukee is a destination for sure as soon as possible.
Good luck with everything, and thanks for taking time to chat.
Thank you so much for having me. And genuinely, I mean it. I'm always so indebted to Scummy Water Tower. Like, you guys are amazing from the first day we chatted, doing all the essays, doing the live sessions. You genuinely have a passion for what you do when it comes to music that rubs off on artists like me who love seeing passion on the other side of things. So what you bring to music journalism is really needed. So thank you guys for always having me and always supporting me. So
Happy to help.
no, amazing. Thank you so much.
Hope you have a great rest of your day then, and hopefully we'll see each other down the road.
Absolutely. I can't wait. Take care.